Are we on? Okay. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. I wish I had more to say right now, but that's what I got. So we can just kind of get right into it. Tonight, I actually don't have a whole lot of stuff set up, mainly because I have a paint day tomorrow, and so I just needed to do a little bit of prep. So if you're hoping for some like amazing, well, if you're hoping for any kind of insight, now might not be the time. But we are going to just work on some miscellaneous stuff. And I'll tell you right now, the reason why I set up a stream like now, even if there's like nothing really to present, is because, and one of the other viewers just broke out and was like, I'm done. I don't even need to watch this. Yeah, you can decide. Those of you watching this on recording, good luck. Let's see how this goes. One of the reasons why I do this, I'll set up like streams like this, is because there's nothing for me to watch. Like there's nothing. I want to be able to paint and have something on, either viewing or listening to, that I find interesting, or to be able to hop into, that there's like hobby hangout and all that kind of stuff. But I would just piss everybody off in there. Like, let's just be real. I people would just get pissed if I jumped in there and started saying a bunch of like obnoxious stuff. We all know that. We know that, and that's why we tune in here, because I'm just gonna say stuff, right? But anyway, yeah, when I got nothing I want to watch, and I got stuff to do, I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing on. So right now, I'm going to work on something really inane, okay? But it's something that needs to happen. It's something that needs to occur every once in a while. What I'm talking about is I need to do this action, right? This is, as somebody that oh wow, I don't even have. The other thing I need to do is I need to I need to turn. Oh, come on. There we go. I need to turn my camera controller on so we can actually get some things in focus here. Okay. Okay. Cool. So with this, I should be able to take autofocus off and go like that, so that you can see what's going on. All right. So see this? This is the bane of my existence right here. Okay. As somebody who likes to stamp their own bases, or even just use things like cork or terrain, that kind of stuff, I hate the slot in the slotted base. Hate it. So I always have to fill it. And traditionally, I would fill it with Vallejo plastic putty. This stuff, which is awesome. This is awesome stuff. Problem is, it comes in a tube this big, and you can, by like blowing these out, you can go through a tube like this really quickly. And my LGS has a hard time restocking this. So I'm constantly there, looking for it. I'm not just there like, I'm not there to just mess around with people in the comic shop. I literally go like once a week when I go, not just for gaming. I go to make sure they have it. Well, that's not the most efficient way to do it, and it's not the best use of plastic putty. Plastic putty is so much better than liquid green stuff. It's not even funny. You want to use it for stuff like filling gaps on models. You don't want to fill something like this that you're going to eventually do that too, right? That is a massive waste of resources. So tonight, we're going to do a whole bunch of that. And we're going to talk that mess about other stuff. Oh, and let's get you caught up. Here is Rogue from the other night. Right? She looks good. I think she does. I think she looks good. I know we're not getting the best look at her, but she looks pretty good. Pretty happy with her. I'll add her to the X-Men pile. There's 2 X-Men left to do. But again, I'm just like slowly plowing through this thing because that's like, here's Cyclops. He's going to be a pretty straightforward paint. And then you got Wolvie here. So I'm just like slowly trudging through that project because it's just, I don't know, wasn't as inspiring for me as I thought it might be. What's better than liquid green stuff? This. Like this, I love. This is fantastic stuff. But I don't want to use it for this, which I have been. Like, it's really strong too when it dries. It's like really firm and strong, and it's great. Instead, I'm going to use this product. It's not quite as good, white stucco. It does shrink, and it does take a long time to dry. But, you know, it is what it is. I want to get a bunch of this done. I actually want to use the white stucco on those Wrath of Kings, those deep well bases. Oh, I highly recommend it. If you're filling gaps on a model, then I highly recommend it. If I'm going to throw a bunch of these in my tomorrow kit. Got Paint Day and Guild Ball Day tomorrow. Comic Quest, if for you locals tuning in, come down, hang out. It's going to be a very casual event. Very casual. I really. What am I prepping? We're just prepping a bunch of bases, and I may actually get around to prepping the young Theron for Guild Ball. I might. I don't know. Man. Just depends on how I'm feeling, if I'm being totally honest with you. Okay, so white stucco. We're going to try this stuff. Let me show you what it looks like in the can. It's kind of this, like, it's kind of like a thick paste, like super thick paste, like almost like a Jello or something like that. So take this. I'm going to take a little bit of it. Hard to get a small amount of it. All right. I'm just going to kind of smush it down there. Right. Just smush it down like that. And that's like a lot of this. It's a lot harder to control, I'll tell you that, than liquid green stuff. Right. I'll set that aside. I just don't want it to. Yeah, I don't want it to shrink so bad that it leaves gaps again. But that's kind of the idea. I want to send you a request on Facebook, but I don't know if I'm cool enough yet. I know it's a big step, guy. Go for it. I don't care. Send me. It don't matter, man. Although I will tell you this. Okay, that I do not accept like friend requests from. It like the main one is people I work with. And that's kind of, take that for what it is. It's kind of shitty maybe, but it's kind of not. I need to have that distance. I need to have that sort of separation, because I was forced recently to friend somebody I work with on Facebook, and he's a cool guy. Like, he's cool, and yeah, we're kind of friendly at work, but at the same time, I just don't like people at work all up in my business, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? And this guy, I'll back up and tell you the whole story, and we'll just go from there, right? So there's a guy I work with at work, and he's a photographer. Okay, um, and the nature of my job, um, will frequently put me uh, in touch with people that need photography. Like, if I'm doing a product demonstration or something like that, um, maybe even like instructional video uh, as part of my work function, then we need photographers there. Some of the advanced experiments um, also require a photographer, and this guy was a photographer, and he's a cool guy, whatever, um, what have you, right? And the thing is, I his cousin, this guy's cousin, was somebody that I used to run around with quite a bit as a young single man. Okay, so the younger single version of myself that had this hobby, but had other hobbies, and some other, like, nothing bad, but it's just like it's your single life, right? Like, this is a guy that, like, we would go out and uh, you know try to meet women together, that whole thing. Like, he was one of my first wingmen in my adult life. And uh, uh, there are many weird and sad and funny stories there. Um, but long story short, a bit of advice for those of you watching this who are still single. If you want a wingman, get a female one. I'm going to tell you right now, female wingman. That is the way to go. That is the ticket. Go get a female one. Why? Several reasons. It's just so much better. You if you show up to the bar, or I don't know how you young folk meet people besides like Tinder or something like that, right? I don't know how it works anymore. Like, when I was a single man, like, internet dating was still somewhat taboo. Um, and yes, I actually did meet my wife internet dating. But anyways, female wingman. You go into the bar or the club or whatever with a girl, and it's all win. I'll tell you why. Because uh, that immediately tells the other women that are at the place that, hey, one, you're approachable, you're safe, uh, there's a reason why you're in there with a woman, and she clearly, there's at least one woman who enjoys your company, right? The other reasons are for having a female wingman is that it will also reduces complications in the field, unless your female wingman is gay, um, in which case that I actually did go before with a gay, with a lesbian. Um, we went out to a club together. It's still a lot easier. Still a lot easier, than a lot less complicated than strolling in with the dude. So you got that going for you. And then finally, like, from the girl's point of view, that makes you so much more interesting as a dude in the bar or the club or whatever. That makes you so much more interesting that you showed up with a girl. And I'm telling you this from experience. Like, I'm not trying to, like, tell you that I was this amazing single guy or anything like that. But I'm saying this worked tremendously well for me, And for somebody that I'm not like super tall or ridiculously handsome or anything like that, but it worked really well for me, and so I'm just sort of passing this on. um, a woman that sees you with another woman, especially if your wingman, your wing woman, I should say, is remotely attractive, they'll start to second guess, like, whoa, are they together? What's going on? Like, am I prettier than her? Um, I know it's kind of a crap thing for me to say, but this is all true, man. Like, this is stuff that has happened. Okay, so anyways, that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's a good thing. Female wingman is a good thing. Because you go in with a female that automatically tells them, okay, you're safe, you're nice to talk to, and then you go and a couple ways in which this worked. I don't know why we're talking about this right now, but who cares? We're talking about. I don't care. This is what we talk about on this feed. Painting stuff, yeah, we can. Occasionally, if you have a question, you can put in the chat, and we can talk about that. But I'm just gonna ramble. So, work is you show up to. We used to go to like dance clubs and that kind of thing. So you show up in the dance club, whatever, and if there's someone that you're interested in, um, then you can go up and you go up to the bar or whatever. And you order a drink the same time they do, and they might have seen you there with your female friend. Um, and then you can do like a standard introduce yourself, that kind of thing. Or what I like to do is just kind of jump into it and just like a really like casual conversation. Um, you know, like something out like, wow, that was really unusual or sad or funny or whatever, right? And just like throw something out there and then just leave it there. See, that immediately, if the girl is interested, like if she's remotely interested in you, then she'll start to question all those things I was saying earlier, like are they a thing? Are they an item? Am I prettier than her? How do they know each other? Because that's actually happened to me on more than a few occasions. It's like, okay, you do that, and then they want to know like what's going on with you and this girl. And it also worked out too because my female wingman was somebody that we actually did go out on a couple of dates. Like I met her um, I met her at the like the dance club that she and I would end up going to a lot. We hit it off, and we had 3 dates, 2 or 3 dates, I'd say. But at the end of like 2 or 3 dates, it was like, this is actually things out work out much better if we don't try to pursue a relationship. Like it's way more like we ended up being like more like buds, I guess, is because kind of she kind of carries herself a little more like a guy. You know what I mean? Like not like gross masculine thing, but like she's just kind of real pragmatic, and you know she's just there to have a good time, whatever, right? So um we continued to go, like, and that was kind of our deal, was like, okay, we're not going to date. What we're going to do instead is we're going to keep going to this place, and we're going to just kind of be friends and have each other's back, right? So if she met a dude, this is also a real plus too for a female wingman, like on the male side, because she's safe now, right? She goes to the place with you, and if she meets a guy that she's interested in, and then I can go check out the guy. Then I know, I know how to get a hold of her. I know that she's, I can at least provide some form of safety, if like maybe even just like a superficial form of safety. Wow, I'm doing the night models bases now, as you can see, because like this is perfect for this kind of stuff. If you don't use the slots. By the way, I will get to that request. I'm just a little busy at the moment doing this. So you can see, like, I'm not making shit up. I will get to it. But anyway, um, so it worked out well that way. Um, the other thing that worked well, like when you're with a female wingman, and I used to smoke when I was a single guy, and I actually smoked for a bit after I got married and all that stuff. But like, you'd be out in a cigarette or whatever, and the two girls are there, and like your wingman will like spring you into action. She'll be like, "Oh, these two girls over here are talking, and one of them wants to meet somebody, and blah 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 blah." Jump in on that. And so I did. So all I'm saying is, bottom line, like it's a good idea. Okay, if you're gonna do that, I don't even know with the young folk, the younger people, the generation, if they even meet each other that way. I think they still do. I think that's still a thing, but I don't think it's as um I don't know. I think that there's a whole generation of people now that do so much on the internet that's just that meeting and dating or now that's another function of their like social media internet thing. I have a younger friend that he's single and he still dates. He uses Tinder and he's like, yeah, I I meet a lot of girls on Tinder, but I don't exactly. That's not really dating. He says it's something else. Like it's just a totally different experience, and so I'm inclined to believe him when he says that. Yeah. So yeah, I had a female wingman for a while. I ended up actually meeting my wife on the internet of all places, and we went and date. When we were dating, and there was a point where it started to get a little more serious, and my wingman figured it out because she was at my house and she saw a case of Michelob Ultra in my fridge. Right, my fridge pretty much only had like three things in it when I was single. It had Sam Adams, it had sake, and it had like condiments. So, uh, but anyway, she was at my house and she saw this in there, and she's like, "You have girl beer in your fridge, and you know someone been staying over here." And I'm like, "Yeah, and was dating this girl." And when things got serious with my wife and I, it's pretty funny. Like I had to have like the whole talk with my wingman. Like I took her out. We had a little dinner, and over dinner, I told her, hey, things are getting really serious now. It doesn't look like I'm not, go to the bars or the clubs or anything with you anymore. We can still be friends, and that's all good. All right. So you do have to do all of that stuff. As it would turn out, like my wife and her became really good friends, and in fact, they keep up more socially, like on their Facebook social media stuff. They keep up more than I do with her because I'm a shitty friend. I'll tell you that right now. Like now that you sent me a Facebook friend request, I'll just tell you I'm kind of a shitty friend. But whatever. Uh oh. What was that? Sorry, things got real quiet all of a sudden. Um, I'm trying to keep it down. Maybe my wife might be able to hear me upstairs, which isn't bad because this is the stuff we talk about. But if I'm too loud, then maybe I'm disturbing the babies or something. So I'm going to just do this last one, and then I'm going to shut the door here. There we go. Okay. So that looks like a big pile of mess right now, but that is, this stuff is going to take a while to dry. It says it dries in half an hour. That's just a total lie, just so you know. All right. So let's be right back. One sec. Let me shut the door. Okay. Here we go. Recently divorced. Single with all my miniatures right now. Hey, it's a bummer that you're going through a divorce, but it's hopefully it's not too messy of a split, and hopefully you guys, everybody makes it out okay there. Let me go ahead and see if this actually came through. So you're gonna let that. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. See, wasn't such a big deal. We're there. Now you can be part of the feed where you mostly see pictures of my kids and stuff that my wife posts to my timeline. I occasionally, I've been trying to post more like update stuff for my feed. I don't know why. I just never posted much on Facebook. Oh, hey, what's up, Blade Wolf? Yeah, you'll. Oh shoot! Here's all the late people saying happy birthday. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna let this dry for a minute. I'm gonna. Huh. Yeah. See, I don't even really like look at my. I should look at my feed a little bit more, but I don't. I don't know. Okay. So here's some stuff that I also. Oh, I should have done that, but I'm. Who cares? I don't even use square bases anymore. It doesn't really matter. Let's do a little prep on young Theron here, and we can look at the miniature a little more closely. Oh man, this white stucco stuff gets everywhere. So yeah, this is way cooler, but I have to do so many. I just don't want to waste plastic putty doing that. So let's look at limited edition Theron. Oops. Oh man, this stuff is getting everywhere. Hold on. Don't ruin my rogue miniature. Okay. That would suck. Get this white crud on. Whoa. All right. So here we go. There's limited edition Theron. Let's pop them out. Okay. It's time to look at the card, man. Like, here we go. Looks like this dude's not a captain, is he? He is a captain. I should keep this. And should build a hunter's team around this. Let's see what we get. 1-inch melee, 5/8 move, 6 tack, 3/6 kick, def 4 arm, 1 influence, 4/6. Nothing really. Those are actually fairly basic captain stats. The playbook has a lot of dodge. Double dodge up early here, and then you've got double pushes out here. No momentous one result's kind of a bummer, but I'm sure there's way around that. The momentous push on 2, and then the momentous 2 damage. Those are pretty sweet. Tackle out on 3 is kind of a bummer. I have finally decided on a new game to get into while I wait for arcade stuff. May try out Dark Age. Dark Age does look cool. It scares me though. New systems always scare me. We've been playing Wrath of Kings. That's you should look at Wrath of Kings. I would strongly recommend it. We played some Wrath of Kings yesterday. It was awesome. Anyway, character play pinned. Suffers 2 damage. Wow, cost 3, but it's a range 8 play. While this model is on the pitch, I'm looking. Okay, I think this looks like. Is this the same card that? Is this the same Theron? The same season 3 Theron? I know I have the Hunter's cards. It does look exactly the same. Hold on. Yeah, it is the same. So okay. Yeah, it looks totally the same. So this really isn't a Hunter's Prey, Nature's Growth, and Heroic. Well then, so it's just a sculpt. It's not a limited in the sense of a new captain option. Kind of a bummer, but at the same time also kind of cool that it's a limited edition captain. I would kind of have an issue with anyway, so not too upset about that. Let's see. You do have the 2-player starter box for Wrath of Kings, dude. Let me know. I will. Let's try to work it out, and we'll figure out a time to try it out. I have 2 Wrath of Kings armies. I actually have 3, but I'm waiting to sell. Well, I want to sell one of my my painted armies so that I can build the 3rd one. I really only want to have 2 Wrath of Kings armies. I don't know how I feel about RK2E rules. They're kind of bumming me out. Okay, yeah. Here's the thing about RK 2.0. The designer who has stepped in to help with the RK 2.1 is Justin formerly of Weird. And Justin was one of the guys that jumped in on Malifaux 2nd edition, M2E. And when he did that, I was working with another group on M2E. And I had one vision of M2E. And then, oh shoot, it's a much better base. No, this is a better one. They had one vision of M2E that was different from Justin's, and ultimately Justin's changes are what went into M2E. And again, I'll be honest with you guys that it upset me greatly because there were a lot of things that I thought Malifaux could have benefited from the other version of 2nd edition. But anyways, they went ahead and went through with it, and it was a big blow to me and to the other folks that were very, very close to Malifaux 1.5. You can call us bitter veterans or whatever, and I wouldn't disagree with you. And what was really the kicker there, though, was what they did with the fluff. Because it was like, yeah, they changed all these rules. They ultimately made the rules more accessible to more players. And I cannot knock him for that. I cannot knock him for that. I can say that he made a lot of changes to the game that I felt took away or divorced some of the mechanics with the fluff. Like, I will say that, yeah, that's a criticism that I will say. Also, some of the playtesters, not me personally, but some of the old like alpha playtesters didn't have the best experience. But anyways, I don't really want to talk about any of that kind of stuff. So it suffices to say, I had some issues with Justin moving over to Ninja Division, and so he was going to work on SDE 2.0, which is fine. It's fine. SDE could definitely use some tooling up. But then we recently found out that he also had his hand in the RK 2.1 rule set. And I didn't even need verbal confirmation about that. I saw the rules and I'm like, that's very Justin. That's a very Justin change right there. And I had mixed feelings about it, because it's like, okay, they are stripping out a lot of the hallmark features of Relic Knights, the whole activation queue. They're stripping out, and they're stripping out Held Esper in favor of the ability to attempt to top deck an attack, and so, and then they made ciphers killable, and there's a standard version of the game, and so all of these changes kind of point at trying to make Relic Knights 2.1 or 2.0, whatever you want to call it, more accessible to the standard wargaming crowd, because the old hand building mechanic of Relic Knights and Held Esper and the activation queue, these are very foreign concepts. And my personal experience with Relic Knights is teaching the War Machine Warhammer players how to play Relic Knights back in first edition was really difficult, because those are just concepts they don't understand. What do you mean I don't just attack the other guy? What do you mean that every attack that I play hits and I have unlimited range and everything? As long as I got the cards for it, it works. And as long as he's got the cards for it, it works. And that it was normal. It wasn't just permissible, but it was normal that you could win games of Relic Knights without ever launching a single attack on your opponent. So, anyways, there are all these things that I loved about Relic Knights. I love the idea that you don't have to on it. In fact, you shouldn't. You should only attack your opponent when it is specifically important to your objective, or it's an important activation, and you need to thwart your opponent specifically at that moment. So I understand all of that. But these changes, what they're going to do is these changes are going to make it so that the guys playing War Machine, the guys playing Warhammer, those guys are going to understand the game a little bit better, and it's going to play a little more to their liking. So, I just hope that the strategy works. I see the strategy as, we've got the anime crowd, but the problem is penetration for a full-fledged miniatures game into the anime crowd is a very dicey affair, and I have to agree with that. The anime fans, and having worked at the Anime Expo and the Ninja Division booth, the anime fans there really want to play a game like Relic Knights, but the thought of jumping into a miniatures game, a collectible miniatures game, is terrifying. As opposed to playing Super Dungeon Explorer, you buy the box, you break out your minis, you roll a bunch of dice, you got chibi stuff, and everybody's happy. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it's enough to save Relic Knights, because honestly, what Relic Knights needs is it just needs more people playing it. And so if they try to court the currently disenfranchised wargamer crowd to go, oh, hey, that kind of reminds me of Malifaux 2nd Edition. Hey, I understand that. I need to attack this person here, and I need to hold this objective. I understand that. Maybe it will work. We'll see. We'll see. All right, time to read some comments, because you guys are talking about a totally different topic, and I should be talking about the topic that you were talking about. Goritzi and Nasir armies with 5 leaders or better each. Nasir is the team I want to fully put into as a main listing. Yeah, I used to run a Nasir. That was actually the first Wrath of Kings army I painted was a Nasir force. What am I doing? Where's the Here it is. I'm just talking to myself. Yeah, and Nasir's really cool. You can say that they're a somewhat straightforward faction, but they're kind of not. I mean, they have troops that seem like they do one thing extremely well. They do their job extremely well, and a good Nasir armies, in my opinion, are the ones that make use of that variety and deploy it where they need it. Right, Pelagarth, the Pelagarth troops are super strong, super resilient, great at what they do, and so they're the like ultimate anvil unit. And then you've got the Ashmen, who are just fantastic, um, just fantastic hitting power in that unit. So yeah, Nasir's fun. I tend to run into a lot of Nasir and Goritzi tend to be the more popular factions. I run Shelhan personally. I love Shelhan. Um, Weird stuff you can do with their uh, what's it called? Their enlightenment ability. So because they have offensive and defensive insights that the Shelhan units can take advantage of. I love that faction. They really are kind of the more like synergy type faction. Goritzi, I never did well with, mainly because I wanted to run heavy vampire theme, and I just wasn't good at it. I've seen people run a heavy vampire theme and do pretty well. You see a lot more people leaning on the wolves, though the wolf related lists. So I tend to run into a lot of that. So right now I have a Shelhan and a Goritzi army. I want to sell my Goritzi army. So Blade Wolf, if you are interested, we can talk. I have a fully painted Goritzi army that I want to move, and I would be willing to do so at a fairly competitive price if you are interested. So, and that would allow me to finally build and paint my third Wrath of King's army, which would be Technus. Very interested in Technus. Phil plays Technus, and really find their playstyle intriguing. I also like that Technus. I have played too much synergy. Yeah, he need more straightforward. Well, Goritzi's pretty straightforward. Speed and killing. That's kind of what they do. But yeah. Shoot. See, now I gotta like. Where's the super glue? There it is. Yeah, I'm not kidding too. Like if you are around tomorrow, come up to Comic Quest and we can meet. And Matt, I believe Matt will be there. We can talk more Wrath of Kings. And if you want, man, let me know. I will seriously bring my Wrath of Kings stuff. You can look at it. I'm very, very interested in moving that army. Yeah, but yeah, the fact that Technus and Shelhan are sort of arch enemies in the fluff makes it more interesting to me, because I want to play that, and they're very different play styles, but both of those play styles to me are very interesting. And playing pigs. I will be in San Diego. Yeah, no worries, man. All right, so I'll glue that in. I was gonna do some prep on Carla here. This is the new one of the new models for Wild in the Streets, but we'll wait on that. So let's see. We're gonna figure out how to do young Theron. Guess I'll put right there. But Wrath of Kings is super fun. We played a three-way kind of introductory game yesterday for a new guy or somebody that was potentially interested locally. And it went pretty well. I played Shellhan. I got to see the changes to, they changed the Lotus Blossom Warriors. They seriously overhauled that troop because it was such a bad unit. And now they're pretty good. They're not, I still don't know if they're as good as the Dragon Legionnaires or the Wrath, the children, but they're good. Like I can see they're useful. They're actually, in my opinion, they would make a good anti-Goritzi unit. So glue homeboy right there. Do any more prep? I'm gonna have to put my airbrush back together real quick and get them primed. Not totally opposed to doing that, but we'll see. I didn't bring a drink down here with me. That's a bummer. I need to get a sip of something. We got some time. Let me show you what else I've been working on. So this whole week has been pretty awesome for me. My wife has been off since our second son was born last October, and she's been off work this entire time taking care of the two boys. And she, in order to keep that good public sector health benefits, she went back to teaching, and she went and taught 1 week, the last week of school, at the high school she teaches at. And what I decided to do was, hey, I'll take that week off and take care of our boys. So I was, Mr. Mom for a week, and I had this whole thing, #BoysWeek, which was awesome because I have a 3-year-old and I have an 8-month-old. I have two little guys, right? And so mom would go off to work and the little guys would be waking up and I would be up the same time I normally am to go to work. And I'd ask my son and I'd go, okay, what do you want to do today? And he would go, Daddy, I want to see sea creatures today. So I would take him to SeaWorld. Next morning he'd get up and go, Daddy, I want to see lizards or whatever. I'd take him to a reptile zoo. And we did that the whole week. And it was awesome. We just did theme park after theme park. Like one of the most fun weeks that I've had probably in my life. I mean, it was phenomenal. Thursday was my birthday. So happy birthday to me. That was interesting. Took the boys to take them to Knott's. That didn't work out so well because too many kids. Then we took them to the reptile zoo, I think, and then I went back and decided to game. So that was kind of interesting. I'm like, I'm gonna game on my birthday proper. So it was interesting in that, like, we didn't do any of the traditional birthday stuff on my birthday. Didn't do the cake. I did actually get one person sing to me. The interesting fact, yeah. My son sang to me on a pre-recorded video, so he didn't technically sing to me on my birthday proper. But one of the girls at the LGS sang. She sang to me live. She powered through. She made it happen. So that was cool. And we just gamed. It was awesome. We played a game of Guild Ball. And then we played Scythe. I went and grabbed some boba to have for dinner, and then boba and poke bowl. I love that. And then came back and we played a 5 or 6 player Scythe. I don't remember. I think 5 player. We played 5 player Scythe, and I loved it. Like, that was the 3rd or 4th game of Scythe that I've ever played. I don't know that you can count the drunken game that I started at Kingdom Con as a full game of Scythe. I think I started a 7-player game of Scythe at Kingdom Con, and then just like wandered off and did other things and ended up talking to a pirate couple. So that's how Kingdom Con went. But we picked up Scythe again. on my birthday, played it, was awesome. And then that night, I talked to one of the locals there, Matt, at my hobby shop, and he and I have been trying to play Wrath of Kings for a while. And I was like, Matt, let's, what are you doing tomorrow? Because, I had Friday still off. And we decided to meet up and play Wrath of Kings. So that's what we did Friday. We played some Wrath of Kings, and we played another game of Scythe. And then today was pretty awesome. It was just, we had a barbecue here at my house. I had my dad and some of my cousins came over. They had never, they haven't been to my new place, and they hadn't seen my new baby. So that was awesome. They got to hang out with the new baby, and they got to check out the new pad here. Yeah, that ended a while ago, and so here we are. I'm prepping for tomorrow, which is a dual paint day / guild ball day at Comic Quest. So I'm going to be doing that. And yeah, it's been a pretty good week. Been a busy and fun week for me. I can't really complain. My wife she got me these things, which are just gorgeous. This whole Winsor Newton brush set, Series 7 brush set. Gorgeous set of brushes. I haven't cracked them open yet. I'm not going to do that tomorrow either. They're going to stay here. I don't want like strangers picking them up and ruining them, because that happens during paint day. Like, people show up, I didn't borrow your stuff, and they jack up. So speaking of which, let me throw in a couple extra brushes. Oh, that's a messed up Series 7. I have like some old Series 7s here that are just in bad shape, and I wouldn't, like, if I tried to teach someone how to paint with those, I probably would not end well. I still have a couple of. So this is a size 0. Oh, a size 1. Look at that. Ooh, fancy. I might have to break that bad boy out tomorrow. And the 0 is nice too. Should I? I already have a good brush that's coming with me, but that's a really nice Series 7. Actually, you know what? I should show this to Kelly and say, look, can you carry these? Because these are way better than the GW brushes. Just awful. They sell a GW brush like, let me show you this. Where's that nightmare GW brush? Where'd it go? They sell like this type of like GW Citadel brush, right? And it's a natural bristle brush. And see, I took really bad care of mine. Just couldn't be bothered to maintain it. Well, there's like adhesive or gum or something on this. Really couldn't be bothered to maintain that. I don't think I paid for this. I think someone just gave it to me. But anyways, they sell this, and my friend bought one, and he paid like $26 for it. And I nearly shit my pants. I'm like, holy crap! I can't believe that they're going to ask for that amount of money retail, and it's not even like a Kolinsky Sable brush. I mean, Reaper makes a Kolinsky Sable brush that is way better, and they sell theirs for like $16 or something. Yeah, here's what we're talking about. Like, a small portion of me is taking a break from War Machine and Horde since I've been such a high losing streak. Yeah, so $6, and I was like, holy shit, man! You can get this on Amazon for, I think these are like $14, $15. Right? You can get a Winsor Newton Series 7 on Amazon. Get it Prime. They'll deliver it to you the next day a lot of times. And it is an objectively superior brush. Like, by any measure, it is a better brush. So, yeah, Series 7. That's and that's what I paint with. I paint pretty much exclusively with Series 7 brushes. When people at the store ask me, what brushes should I get? I'm in that store and I'm like, well, if you want my honest opinion, go, spring for one of these. But if you're just starting to paint and you want to pay $9 for a army painter brush, start there because you're going to ruin the brush anyway. Um, and I'll give them a couple different sizes, but I tell them to stay away from the GW brushes because the prices are ridiculous. Like that's ridiculous, and it's not even a good brush. I'll also put them into um, the Reaper Sable brushes because those are okay. The Reaper Sable brushes are okay. They last for okay. Um, the other great crime brushes at the miniature store is you never get brush soap, right? Brush soap is a big deal. So I'll tell them that too, like buy some brush soap. If you're gonna, what I would do, even like if a brand new painter, what I would do is instead of spending $26 on a single GW brush where you're gonna want to kill yourself, spring for a Series 7, size 1. Don't buy the 0 yet because the new painters, they're not gonna need a size 0. Start with a 1, and with the rest of the money that you would have spent, buy yourself a master's brush soap. I mean, that's the way to. I don't know. You guys tell me. I have been wanting to try the Raphael 8404, but haven't gotten around. Like I know that there are other Kolinsky Sable brushes that people swear by, but I've been faithful to Series 7 for a long time, and they're just fantastic. And yeah, I probably change mine out more frequently than most people who do because they take better care of their brushes than I do. Um, but yeah, that just kind of I couldn't believe that. And they also sell the LGS also sells Games and Gears brushes, which are but super pricey. And they have the most horrible thing I think I've ever seen. Like just the most horrible scam. The Games and Gear sells they sell this, they call it a tool. This is a tool for holding for two brush blending, right? It essentially allows you to hold two brushes end to end, right? So it would be like you take these two brushes end to end and you can do two brush blending, right? And it's essentially all it is a tube, right? It's just a tube and you just pop the two brushes in. Guess how much they wanted for a tube? And I'm not kidding. It's a plastic tube. They they wanted $12 for a tube. $12 for a regular plastic tube. And it's a Games and Gear, and I just couldn't. It just blew my mind. I was like, wow. So I told my friend who works there, if you ever see me recommending that tool to somebody, just know that that person has pissed me off in a very special way. Like I, that's like that would be code for me to recommend them spending $12 on a tube means that they have earned a certain degree of my ire, and I will not. So I'm like, I told her, I'm like, just wait for it. Like I'm gonna walk this person up here, and you're gonna go, wow, he really hates that person. Anyway, let me grab a. I hate to do this, guys, but I have to go. I gotta drink something. My throat is killing me. I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Yeah, how dare he get thirsty? I know, right? I have a bottle of sake in here, but I don't know, not that kind of feed. I think I have done a couple of feeds where, uh, at least one, I think, where I drank more and more sake, and then towards the end of it, I got really just too hammered to do anything. But let's see. So yeah, I guess I can go ahead and prime this guy. The other thing that I've been working on, which I'm chewing on. Sorry, you gotta hear me eat too. Sorry, guys. I did a dumb thing, right? Because it was like my birthday on Thursday, and I was like, I gotta buy myself something cool, right? I gotta do something for me. So I was at the hobby store, and I bought Mansions of Madness Second Edition. Okay, I owned Mansions of Madness the first edition, painted it all up, and it was cool. And it's actually, I liked it. It was a fun game, but um, the issue I had with Mansions of Madness is, you had to have an innkeeper, and if you're the guy that owns the game, well, guess what your job is? You get to be the innkeeper. Um, Worst life feed ever. Um, and it just took hours. Like, it's like, oh, you want to play Mansions of Madness? Yeah, okay, come back in an hour and a half after I've set up and did all the backstory and put the whole map down, right? Well, Mansions of Madness second edition does a great job of addressing that because, now you have an app. Unfortunately, you only have 5 scenarios, but you have a map. The puzzles are more interesting, and so you get to play it full co-op, which is what I wanted to do. So I bought it, right? And I'm like, okay, I bought it, and the sculpts are okay. They're okay. They're not great. They're not, the other thing that I was kind of bummed about is it didn't come with the original detectives, but actually kind of cool that they're all divs that you can play, and then you can always go back and get the original ones, which I'm probably going to do because I liked the original detectives better in terms of their aesthetics. Like, there's too many, in my opinion. The male detectives are now, like, they looked way just kind of older, a little more decrepit looking. Like this guy, like that guy, yeah. Like, they're not great. The female detectives, the ones that they added, are just kind of strange. I don't know. I don't. Why she? I don't understand. It's just a weird run. I don't get it. Um, I do like this one. This is basically Daphne from not Daphne, Velma. Like, that's kind of awesome. Uh, those monster bases from Mansions of Madness, so barf instant Yeah, no, for sure. I'm with you there. I was actually excited that the monsters don't come on the base because that will allow me to rebase them. So I'm down for that. I don't know why like, her eyes are so cavernous that she looks like a zombie holding a candle. Like, that's so. Anyways, when I wasn't even sure, I thought this was a dude at first, but then I was like, wow, that dude has a interesting kilt. Um, hey, what's up, Canvas? So, anyways, I bought all this, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna paint it. It'll take me a couple of weeks to paint through. What I'm gonna have to do is, I'm either gonna have to slice them off these because I don't want that base, or chop up the base around them to try to save, like, especially these tiny feet. It's a little scary. Well, I'll just put a brand new blade in and do it. But, like, there's a couple, like, this guy's feet are so sunken in that I'm just gonna have to chop around that. A couple of the dudes, looks like the dudes may be more of a problem. Their feet are like half sunken in the base. So I did that, right? The next effing day, the next day, we go in to play Wrath of Kings, and Sure enough, Dark Souls, the game, shows up on the shelf. Son of a bitch. I'm like, God, oh, crap. Like, Dark Souls, I was like, oh, man. So Dark Souls is on the shelf. I just blew $100 on Mansions of Madness. Could have had $120 to get Dark Souls. But the only saving grace there is has the Dark Souls game, so I don't feel so bad. It would be one thing if I didn't it didn't have access to the game at all and we weren't ever going to play it. But because he has a copy of it, we'll get to play it. Unfortunately, it won't be all painted. So I'll be crying a little bit on the inside, but that's fine. I got to get over myself occasionally. But right, you just gotta be okay and roll with it. Or I could stop being a dick and trying to charge everybody money and just paint his set for him. But we're not going to do that. We don't do that anymore. I got kids to feed, damn it. So we don't do that anymore. But anyway, the other thing I was waiting for too was I wanted AVP second edition to show up because that's $60 and it's amazing. Like $60, it comes with foam. Like I want that. The player miniatures look generic for Dark Souls. Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to look at the player miniatures, but everything else I saw looked pretty cool. I don't know how. I mean, it looked pretty cool. It looked like it would paint pretty fast. But whatever. All right. I guess we should quit mucking around here and get to work. We'll just prime this bad boy. We're going to prime Theron. I got to turn this sucker back on. Which Kingdom Death was not so expensive? Yeah. Well, the same guy owns, he backed Kingdom Death in a big way. And I've had a few people threaten to hire me to paint Kingdom Death, but I told them how much I would charge them and they cried. So I'm like, you understand, if we're going to paint Kingdom Death, we're going to paint Kingdom, like we're going to do it right. You know what I mean? We're not going to be doing like 32 miniature batch painting like I typically do. Like this is a different animal you're talking about here. So yeah, I had one lady go in, I think something like $600 on the original Kingdom Death Kickstarter. And, she's like, hey, I got everything. How much would you charge me to paint everything? And I said, well, I need 18 months and honestly, a few $1,000 to do it. And she kind of cried a little. And I'm like, but it's the truth. Sorry. That's what I would do. I told her like the best thing in that scenario would to get me hooked on it. So maybe I'd lower my prices, right? Like give me some of the regular peasant miniatures and that kind of thing. And just let me paint those, pay the crazy price up front, and then see if right. All right. Oh shoot! I need to refill my water bottle too. One sec, guys. Okay, cool. Yeah, the problem is I had everything packed up for tomorrow's event, so I'm just working out of this little like tackle box. If you had to assemble and prep too, several $1,000s is a fair price given the game is nothing but tiny pieces. Yeah, that's yeah, and that would be part of the thing. I would basically handle the entire process. So yeah, that's why I quoted what I quoted. But I told her like just get me hooked on it, and the completionist side of me would want to to finish the job. You don't need those free pinups, right? Throw in 8 of those. Yeah. Give me those pinups for gifts because they know how much I love those. I do love those pinup models. Damn Kingdom Death and its awesome pinup miniatures. All right. So we'll just fire this bad boy up. I forgot I have another Masters. I have another T233 Masters. I haven't even opened yet. And I've got the Jeweler's saw blades. I'm not bringing any of that. I literally sent my friend $60 for pinup models, both male and female, for D&D. Nice. I've been thinking about D&D, man. I kind of want to play. Like, I kind of want to do a campaign. Kind of down. Been thinking about it a lot lately. All right. Whoa. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. Not the end of the world when that happens. You just sort of have to get a little more creative with how you hold the mini. Stupid. Sometimes the sticky tack dries up and you didn't put enough of it on the stupid cork. So it's an issue. Oh, I forgot. You got to remember to bring the cleaner there. Anyone know where I can pick up some larger scale unpainted vinyl statues? I want to do some larger scale airbrush stuff. Those are you talking like those garage scale kit, those garage kits. Those are those get expensive, don't they? I've wanted to do one of those too myself, but all my money goes into regular 30 millimeter, 28 millimeter miniatures. Okay, we're gonna give him a second to dry here. And I don't think I need to do a gray. I'm just gonna step him up to a white. I'll go just straight black and white and just make it simple. Because I'm gonna paint that guy tomorrow, and then I'm giving away an unpainted one. But I might just say, look, if you like the painted one, you can take that one instead. It just depends on who wins it. So when you work on House of Technies broods, oh, I just need someone to buy my Goritzi. And my logic is this: I'm keeping myself I'm limiting myself to 2 armies for Wrath of Kings, mainly because 2 armies fits in a single KR case, and I only want to have 1 KR case for Wrath of Kings. And I try to do the same for Relic Knights. Guildball, Malifaux, and Batman, I expect to be able to fit all 3 of those games in a single KR case. So my whole like miniature thing is based on how many KR cases I've dedicated to the game. Am I like rocking the camera around? I'm sorry. All right. Let's continue on here. By the way, if you did watch the Ozymandias video, I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was a super fun miniature to paint. I really enjoyed it, and been wanting to paint that one for a while. And we had our whole little ramble about, you know, the interesting part of the Ozymandias character, like the, you know, the morality of that particular character. I thought was fun. It does leave me a little half tempted to paint an entire Watchmen crew, but not that tempted. Like I'm a little bit tempted, not that tempted to do it. But yeah, it was super fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. When you're talking about, you know, afflicted villains, the one that's come up most recently for me has been Griffith from Berserk. I've been watching the current season of Berserk, trying to catch up. I think I'm on episode 15 or 16 now, so I still have like 5 or 6 episodes to go. And the animation still, it's a little bit better than it was last season. Still drives me just a little bit. It makes me a little bit sad to look at, but you know, it's Berserk. I'll still watch it. I still have love for Berserk. But you know, one of the other discussions that's come up lately is like, you know, Griffith. Yeah, he has done some disgusting. He did some disgusting things there. The eclipse, and you know, there's a strong argument about the amorality of that character, but is he necessarily, you know, evil? Is he necessarily the bad guy? Just a one-dimensional bad guy? Because I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of sincerity, and there's a whole other thing to Griffith that kind of, to me, kind of humanizes the character and makes him really interesting. What I wouldn't do for a Berserk miniature set, how freaking cool would that be? I would love to have a Band of the Hawk miniature set to paint. Somebody better make that. Hopefully one of these like indie miniature companies just makes a bunch of sculpts that just so happen to look like Guts and Griffith and you know, Casca, and the whole Band of the Hawk would be awesome. Imagine the Pippin miniature, how cool that would be. I don't know. What do you guys think? I would super love that. All right, let's jump over to the white primer. Now let's give them the full. We're here anyways. Let's give them the full treatment with the gray primer. I need a better holder for Theron. Let's try this one. Maybe this one will work a little better. Problem is, I'm gonna sticking them on there will it screw up the prime job I already have. That's okay. All right. Yeah, I would just love to have a Band of the Hawk. We don't even have to have a game for it. Like you could use it as a Frostgrave warband. You could use it as you can imagine a Guild Ball team had the Berserk miniatures for. How freaking cool would that be? You know, you could make Griffith like a striker Griffith, and I guess um, Rickert could be strikers. You could have Pippin as like more of a goalie. You know, Guts would be a more of a midfielder. That would be pretty awesome. All right, so let's go with the gray. Ooh. This gray has not been working so well lately. Maybe time to change out my gray. Young Theron looks like he's going camping for some reason. Guild Ball miniatures would make some cool D&D minis. If totally expensive, but still cool. Dry this off. Yeah, the gray has not been working so well lately. Okay, and let's do the let's clean this out and do the white. I mean, if they decided to do a Berserk game, that would be awesome. I think you would want to. I think there's too many potentials for games though. Like if you were doing the Golden Arc game for Berserk, how would you do that? Would you make it? Would it be a skirmish game, a co-op board game? Would it be, would it be like an you could easily make it an RPG. You can make any of the Berserk universe as it's like an RPG system, and that would be fairly easy to do. But how would you tackle the Golden Arc? Let's say, yeah, I don't know. I would. I would want to play. I would want to be able to play the Golden Arc campaign with my friends. So if it were me, I would want to have a co-op um, board game / miniature game for that. And I don't know if you could do it. I don't know if that would be feasible. If you did like a full blown, like say Age of Sigmar type game, and you could have, you could have players play Judah or Chuda. I don't know how the other, essentially, you have the Midland Army. And if you played the Band of the Hawk, they would be like essentially Grey Knights, right? They would be super expensive. You could only field like 12 of them. And then you could play standard Midland, or you could play Judah, or you could play what is the Kushan? You could play the Kushan faction. That'd be kind of cool. That's if you were just doing like, Warhammer type analog game. Those were the factions you could play, or you could play it like we were saying, like a semi co-op, where one player is, maybe you're playing specifically different parts of the campaign, where you'll play scenarios. Okay, in this scenario, you have to successfully siege this castle, the victory for Midland, right? And so that would be very much Golden Arc. Or you can even play the Eclipse scenario, That would be kind of cool too. Like imagine you have to play the eclipse scenario and you're just basically going to lose that scenario pretty much no matter what. But maybe there were victory conditions that you kind of have to have. Like maybe Guts and Casca have to be alive at the end of it in order for your side to win, even though, ultimately we know what happens. Um, I don't know. I'm just really into Berserk right now because I'm watching it again. Voltron would also be interesting. I've been watching the new Netflix Voltron. I'm surprised. I mean, it is still, it still feels a little youthful, but that's what I expect from Voltron anyway. And I liked the last season of this past season of Voltron for Netflix. I should probably be in frame when I'm doing this, so you can see the face getting right. There it goes. He wants to move so bad. Okay. And that's it. We're just gonna let him dry. And I'll be painting that dude tomorrow. Alrighty. And I think I do think that the next like painting video I do probably going to be a chibi miniature. Just a heads up, or a Relic Knights miniature. I do want to. I do have half a mind to paint one of those Star Lancers for Relic Knights, because I think that would be kind of cool. It'd just be more of like a, how to paint mecha type mecha type miniatures. I think that might be interesting. Okay, so it is now 10:30, guys, and I think at this point, I think we're going to call it. It's going to be a short evening. None of the other base stuff is dried, so I can't really do anything else if I wanted to. And I want this to dry nice and well so that I can do my paint day tomorrow and be reasonably assured that everything is up to snuff. All right. So with that, we're going to call an end to this video. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching. It's been, I always really appreciate the guys that when you pop in and leave me a comment or whatever. And let me know, what else you might want to watch me paint, or hopefully maybe even get like a play. We haven't done like a live play video for a while, and now that I have a bunch of one player potential, like you can play Mansions of Madness one player, you can also play Scythe one player. So anyways, let me know what you would be interested in watching. Okay, so with that, we're gonna call this video to a close. Have a good night, guys, and we will catch you on the next one.